Let's go to the market that is for us. Hulkbuster, baby. Hulkbuster, $72,000 Hulkbuster. This is for Carlos, really. But guys, Queen Studios, if you didn't catch the news, Queen Studios announced a 1-to-1 scale Hulkbuster from Avengers Age of Ultron that is now up for pre-order. The deposit is just a small amount of $28,500. So this thing, I mean, you can't deny it's a grail. I mean, I don't think there's anything like this that exists really in the world that you can purchase. So it's pretty remarkable in that sense alone. Clearly, it's outside of us, and I'd be willing to bet most people in the chat's price range, unless you want to bankrupt yourself. And where in God's name would you even put this thing? You'd have to have a warehouse of some kind. So, but I doubt they're going to make too many of these. This thing is what, like 11 feet tall, we were thinking? It's a very,
like 12
very
feet.
tall piece.
I think it's like 12 feet, yeah.
So I actually want to let Keco go first on this one because I know he's got, I think, some strong thoughts on this one. But Keco, what are your thoughts overall on this $72,000 one-to-one Hulkbuster?
So by the way, 3.5 meters is 11.4 feet. I just officially calculated that. So it's 11.4 feet. And you think about the average home having maybe 10-foot ceilings, something like that. So this isn't going to fit in the average home. As you'd mentioned, it's going to be in a warehouse potentially. Now, going to the land of Carlos, a friend of mine has a law firm in California, and Justice Headquarters is what it's called. I don't know if you're familiar with that. But either way, they have a life-size Groot in their lobby, which is an actual, not this one, but like the actual Groot, you know, and he's like 8 feet tall or whatever. And he's a giant centerpiece because they are kind of like they're like us, you know, they're collectors and things. They're lawyers that are collectors that like to, you know, use a really cool office and turn it into that. Either way, this is still exponentially bigger than even that, to where, I mean, you look at that. So I'm going to use some harsh words here. I honestly think that this is gross, putting this out there. Just because it's kind of like a look what we can do kind of thing. Okay, cool. Like the people that would want this essentially would commission someone to make it for them, essentially, if you really wanted a life-size Hulkbuster. For a company to dedicate resources, and I know like it's not even available for American markets, by the way. It's only available for the Asian and European markets. So with that being said, is that it just seems very odd that they dedicated resources for something like this that no one essentially is going to be able to have or obtain. I went through and read a lot of the fine print on it. It says that it has to be put on a ground floor because it's 3 tons. That's 6,000 pounds. There's your cautions. It's approximately 3 tons. So it's 6,000 pounds, more than a car, more than most cars. And it says that you need to put signs up to keep people away from it within certain feet away. I think it's at the bottom there. It says when you display this, put at least 2 to 3 meters away from the statue to avoid the statue being climbed upon by people that didn't assemble it. Which it's insane to me. It just seems like this isn't for a collector. This is something that this is not for us. This is not marketed to us. I would love to know the people that are. No doubt, I'm sure there will be somebody that gets it just to dick around with it. But the spacing limitations. And as I said, I just think it's gross to put that out there when I saw someone, not trying to act holier than thou by any means, but someone put that there's like, in a world where people are struggling to afford groceries, you put this up for sale. And, you know, I just think it's a little toned up. Yeah, we all love to like buy things, you know, as our hobbies, but this one's just a little bit out there for me just because $72,000 for a 6-ton, 12-foot statue. Commission somebody to build this. I don't think the company should have been wasting their resources on this.
Yeah, dude. That's dude, Keco, I'm glad you got to share that live, bro, because you warned me about the cold hard take that you were going to have on this Hulkbuster, but I wasn't expecting it to go that deep. Yeah, because so the Keco, the one, and before I let Carlos go on this one,
and sorry for steamrolling everybody. No, I wanted to share that.
I think it creates a really good conversation because the one thing I would say, Keco, is this: like with this Hulkbuster, I think. I get what you're saying when we're coming at it with like the gross aspect, right? When people are like struggling to buy groceries or whatever, but you could also apply that same logic to what we do because we buy figures, we buy statues that are way higher than most people think they are. And, you know, there are plenty of people that are struggling to make ends meet and whatever, and we're buying $3,000 statues. So, I mean, I think the same logic applies, whether it's 72,000 or 1,000 or 300 or 3,000.
Yeah, there's
right?
certainly a threshold, obviously.
Yeah, but I think it's all
and
subjective, is my point. Like
yeah,
it's all relative to the individual.
but I think advertise because yesterday, this is what that upset me is that yesterday when they announced it, someone's like, "When's this pre-order?" It said PMS for price. Honestly, I know that's a joke, but honestly, Queen said PMS for price and inquiries. And I wish that it stayed that way. If you're legitimately serious about this, inquire about it and see if it works for you. Throwing it out there with all the price and all that stuff, I feel like it's a weird flex and it just doesn't make sense to me. That's it.
It must be, there must be some market analytic in Asia that tells them this is worth their while. But
well, I mean, you look at Dubai
and
places like that. I mean, you might have Salt Bay putting this in front of his Dubai restaurant. You never know.
Yeah,
I mean, they have crazy things like that. Maybe Hasbullah will grab it. I love Hasby. He's on all my Instagram stuff for some reason now. But it's strange.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Well, Carlos, hop in on this one. What do you think about this Hulkbuster? Do you agree with Keco, or how do you feel about this? I know it's a hefty price tag, but what do you think?
Yeah, I don't agree necessarily with Keco thinking that this is disgusting, right? Just because is that the word you use, Keco? Disgusting?
I said gross, technically.
Gross. Yeah,
gross.
I'm
sorry.
It's an adjective.
Gross.
Yeah.
So gross just because at the end of the day, like, people buy $100,000 cars, $50,000 cars. They make, it's no different than this because you don't really need 50. Yeah, it's a luxury item, right? We all buy figures, right? We all buy $300, $400, $500 figures. We buy statues, but how many of us really give back, right? Not a ton of us, so I couldn't say that's gross. As far as like business, I think this honestly is really smart from a business perspective. So let me tell you a couple things. There's a jewelry store, right? One of the things I learned about when I was coming up in marketing was this new jewelry store was trying to get its name out there. So what they did is they put a big ass diamond, I think it was in a Frisbee or some regular item, and they priced it at like, I think $1 million. The point was no one was going to buy it, but they were going to get a ton of attention so that people can see, look at the stuff that they can make, right? And that helped them. That's called guerrilla marketing. Help them get more people in the door, right? And be able to go and see this specific diamond or this specific thing that they were making, and they, knowing no one was going to buy it, so you can go and see it. Like I was back in my day, my first Rolex that I bought, I went into this jewelry store. And I knew about them because they had a $50 million watch. I went in to watch it and to look at it just because I thought it was, interesting to see. And I happened to eventually go to that store to buy my first Rolex when I was younger. So that's kind of what this kind of feels like. Not a lot of people are going to buy it. You're going to get people like, I think it's Roni Stark, who has been requesting one. You're going to get people like Comic Cons who are going to be asking, hey, come over to San Diego Comic Con. You're going to get a chance to see this life-size Hulkbuster, right? Real things that just actually make sense business-wise. But at the end of the day, it's a really good business move, I think, because you can show like, hey, Queen Studios is making this, right? From a let us show you how far our talent can go. This is it. What's Prime One's? Here's how far our talent can show, right? J&D is doing something similar. Here's how far our talent can show. Or what we can do by having that Wonder Woman, all silicone legs, body, seamless, everything. That's kind of what they're trying to do. They've taken the big old, hey, we are the top dogs. Here's, swinging around our big pee-pee because here is our $100,000 piece. You know what I mean? But this only seems crazy to us because we just don't make that kind of money. But we'd be like, well, who in reality would ever buy this kind of stuff? It's like, the same logic can be applied if you were to make $100,000 and be like, who in reality would buy a $60,000, $70,000 car? Well, you would. It's just that this is just harder for us to be able to place it. You know what I mean? At a time when, as Keco said, people can't buy groceries. I understand that. But at the end of the day, I don't see a lot of people, or maybe I'm wrong, but I wouldn't imagine a lot of people who are collecting are also donating, giving back. I know I do, right? But I don't.
I need to do more of it. I need to be better about that.
And I know that's fair. And I kind of just last thing I'll say about my little point about that is that when you said, you go into the watch store, to get a Rolex to see the $50 million watch, the price tag of a Rolex. This is not within the scope of Queen's stuff. Yeah, it's cool to see this as like kind of their banner flagship piece, but to actually offer it for sale makes it seem that that does not fit the other ballpark of the other products there. Like, what if you were like sitting there, oh, cool, because there's something you're looking for. Is like, oh, I'm never going to look at Queen because if this is what they're putting out, I can't even afford that. That's my thing, is that it's not within the ballpark. Of
gotcha. So it would set a bad, you're saying a bad precedent where like it would
be
not a precedent, with their other
but the window shopping or the window dressing you're putting there is not what your product really is.
But wouldn't it be the
I
same
think
thing?
This one though, they're not selling it to the same audience. Yeah.
Right. But wouldn't this be the same thing as like the $50 million watch? You go into Queen Studios knowing that a lot of their pieces are affordable, like the quarter scale cap was only $800 or some $1,000.
Some people don't know that, but maybe it's name recognition and region and stuff. But if you say Rolex, I know what you're going to be spending essentially on that, and it's all subjective, obviously, because we all have the different things that we collect and what we think have value and such. But for sure,
that's why like I think this piece is so interesting, because
it got us talking.
It got us talking about this, and it got us talking about like sort of what price is crazy and what like kind of market we have here in collecting for statues and 1/6 and otherwise. So yeah, because I mean, anyone that I would see, all of us talking, anyone in the groups, anyone on YouTube, unless you're a fucking baller, you're not going to buy this. But this is like this is not marketed for us. This is marketed probably for like really high-end stores, or like you mentioned, Keco, like maybe law guys, or like guys who make over $500,000 to $600,000, maybe more a year. You're probably looking at those guys that would, or gals that would buy this, right? Or maybe if you own a comic store and you have a lot of capital and you're just like, this would be a fucking awesome piece in our store somehow, right? That would be the type of thing.
Tax write-off. Plus,
so if you were able to do something like that, so I think Keco, they might make less than 50 of these. I mean, like it might be. I don't
think they make more than 20, maybe 25.
Right. So like it's not. It's really, and I think it's it's clearly not for me. But it is kind of like Carlos was saying, Keco. I do understand the side of. It's not consistent with their other products and their pricing, but it is consistent in terms of showcasing their flex and showcasing like how good they can make shit. And like this could get a lot of people who really don't look at collecting shit looking at Queen Studios. Like how many maybe news places might cover this piece, right? Like if all these news articles online that'll cover like, look at this Queen Studios Hulkbuster, and then people are like, what is Queen Studios? And they're not going to find Hulkbusters, but they are going to find things maybe that are within their price range. So then at that point, Queen Studios got free marketing for releasing a piece that not many people are going to buy, but really showed the world how capable they are. And then it gets their foot in the door, so to speak.
But is it USB powered? That's what I want to know.
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
It's funny because someone mentioned, oh, did they have a $25,000 R2 at Disney, and this would be great at Avengers Campus. Yeah, exactly. This is licensed. Right? Like, can you imagine going and be like, dude,
but those are for companies. And if you want to, partner with Disney, if you want to partner, well, obviously Disney, but if you want to partner with Disney, or if you want to partner with a law firm or a San Diego Comic-Con, you partner with them and be like, hey, would you be interested in this piece? Essentially, let's work it together. But then mass producing it, saying, hey, we're going to offer this up. Pre-order start today. That just seems odd to me.
The thing is that sometimes people don't know they want it until you tell them that they should have it. So a lot of these like law offices are going to be like, hey, I didn't even know this was a thing. And now because someone covered it, now I know it is. We can fucking buy this.
Well, I just can't imagine what the shipping and let alone the assembly process is going to be.
It's probably $100,000. There's probably all in $100,000, $100 to $120,000.
Yeah, probably $20,000 to ship this.
It would probably just be like if you're shipping a car, though.
Which is pennies, right?
Yeah, that's true, Keco.
Which is pennies to some of these big old agencies who go and be like, give away, Rolexes and, $100,000 here and there to their clients. So like this is for like big ballers. Like
this could be something like Von Miller could buy or something. You know what I mean? Like
like hey, he loves Marvel. I'm gonna put this on my front yard or something. Yeah, like exactly. Hey, I'm gonna tell you this: if I was making $2-3 million a year, even $1 million, I would buy this. I don't make.
I probably would too, to be honest. Like if I was making a shit ton of money. Right. Like if I was making a lot of money, like I was a professional athlete or just in banking or something and making a lot of money, I'd probably consider this. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Hulkbuster. I don't love him as much as like Loki, but I just think it's like a really cool piece. But I get where you're coming from. I do think people are going to share that sentiment. I do think there are a decent amount of people who will agree.
Look at Jazz Inc. Jazz Inc. We understand the whole Puttygate. Fine. I get all that. But look at their centerpiece. It's that 1989 Batwing. At the end of the day, you're going to be like, yeah, they made that. And they probably can make the N1 if no one else makes it. Because look what they're making. A 1989 Batwing that's like 5 feet by 4 feet, Hot Toys won't even make it, but they are. So that's like their piece that they can showcase and be like, it's like at the top of their game. Here's what they can do, showcasing we're the big guys, you know. So hey, every company should do something like that, in my opinion.
Well, guys, great chat on that one. Thanks for Keco
kickstarting
away
there.
Yeah, Keco kickstarted that combo. That was great, man. So that was awesome.
That was good. I liked it.